Hello everybody, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. It is currently Tuesday. Whoops. And I'm starting this vlog out a little bit late because of last week's chaos. If you want to see what I got up to last week, I will link my previous week's vlog here, and down below. But last week was a very busy work week, and I had these grand ambitions of reading 5-star predictions. And I didn't really get through any of them because of how crazy it was. And so this week, I'm going to try and redo last week and actually find some new 5-star reads. So let's get into the TBR. So starting with my holdover book, we have A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I am right about halfway through this one and so far absolutely loving it. It is about a count who has been put on house arrest right around the time of the rise of the Bolsheviks, and he lives in this hotel in the middle of Moscow, and it's kind of about his life, and I really like the writing in here, and storytelling is so excellent, so I have good feelings that this could be heading towards a 5-star. My other holdover book, which is not actually a 5-star prediction, it is just a book that is going to be in this vlog because I'm reading it for my in-person book club that I do with friends that live around here. So I do need to read it for this video, but it's not a book that I had on my radar as a 5-star read. And this one is a legal thriller about a juror who was the holdout on a case, meaning that she was the only one who voted not guilty when the rest of the jurors voted guilty, of a trial where a black man is being convicted of murdering a young white girl. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm about halfway through, but I do plan to finish this one tonight as the book club is tomorrow night. And then I've also added a couple other books onto this. I don't know if I'm being overly ambitious. But I briefly mentioned this one in last week's vlog as a 5-star prediction. I'm hoping to get to this week. This is The Book of Guilt by Katherine Chidgey. I've only heard great things about this author's work. I think one of her other books is called Pen or The Pen. And it says, in 1979, in a version of England where nobody won World War II, 13-year-old triplets are the only boys left in an orphanage whose dark secret is the reason for their existence and the key to their survival. It also has great reviews on Goodreads, so hope I will enjoy that one. And then last but not least is a book that has been on or is on my fall TBR that I haven't quite gotten to. And I've also heard nothing but excellent things about, and it is a spooky book as well, so I thought it would be good for Halloween week. And that is The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. This is about the women who Jack the Ripper killed, but it's about their lives. It's not necessarily like a true crime book, and I don't think he's particularly mentioned. It's just about how their lives were, obviously leading up to their deaths. So I think this will be a really fun one as well, and one that I think I will give 5 stars. Otherwise, I have just ordered my Halloween candy. Halloween is this Friday. It's currently Tuesday, so I have a couple days for that to come in and to get ready for Halloween. I've got to spruce up the front of the house a little bit because I have these like decimated pumpkins, and I don't think any child is going to want to come get candy from our house if they look at the state of these pumpkins in mums outside. So I'm going to fix those things, get all the candy bowls ready and everything. And then we're more of like Christmas decorators rather than Halloween decorators, but we do like some cute little pumpkins and things. So I'll definitely do that. But otherwise, I don't have too much decorating left to do. And then I think after the trick-or-treaters, I'm going to go to my friend Charlotte. She's having another bonfire. She had one last couple weeks ago, which was really, really lovely. So hopefully a little Halloween bonfire as well this week. So overall, I think it should be a very nice, relaxing week full of 5-star reads after my very chaotic last week. Happy Thursday. It has been the rainiest day ever. We have had a gale warning all day, which I don't really know what that means scientifically, but based on today, it just means super windy, super rainy. So that has been fun. I went to go get my hair cut this morning, got my grays covered, which was very nice and satisfying. And then what did we do? I did a bunch of reading, so I have a big reading update for you. Tyler and I made apple pie. Every single year we make some type of, well, we go pick a ridiculous number of apples and then we make some type of apple dessert. Usually it's like an apple crisp or crumble, but this year we decided to go all out and make a lattice top apple pie. And it was very delicious. The technique we did was very different than what we typically do, which is like cooking the apples in the sugar. But this recipe had us pour it over the top, which was really interesting. Anyways, you don't care. I will link it down below if you're curious, but we did really enjoy it. Halloween candy came in. I ordered way too much. So we have a full-on like massive bowl of Halloween candy in addition to extra. So I hope the trick-or-treaters are going to show up tomorrow, because if not, we're going to just have way too much candy. Yeah, I think those are all the life updates. Halloween tomorrow, very excited. But I do have quite the reading update for you guys because I finished 2 books. I'm making my way through a 3rd book. One of the books I gave 5 stars, one of them I gave 3.5 stars. So let's just get into it. I also have in one of my fall mugs, it's almost time for the winter mugs to come out and me to share those with you guys, but currently still in the fall mugs. I have this giant mug of chamomile tea. All right, so the 3.5 star was The Holdout by Graham. Can't remember this man's last name. The Holdout. This was, I think I've talked about it a little bit in this vlog, but it was also a holdover book from last week. But basically, it's a legal thriller. It deals a lot with justice versus truth. It deals a lot with race in the American justice system. And I think it asked a lot of really interesting questions. And it overall was an engaging read. I do think I had 2 main issues with it. The first was, I think the author tried to introduce too many characters. Like every character or most of the characters in the jury, I believe every character, had a chapter. And I was like, I just don't know that at that point we're adding too much to it. Because there were 2 kind of mysteries going on, and then everybody from the jury got a chapter. And I was like, this seems like a lot. So that was issue number 1, too many characters. Issue number 2 is I thought the end was rushed. I think that like all the reveals seemed to be happening at the same time, and it was a little bit like, what is going on? And I think if they were a bit more spaced out, it would have been more effective. However, I did really enjoy it. I did think it had a lot of interesting things to say, and it was well written, and I would read more by the author. This just wasn't like, I don't think it's a thriller that I will like remember deeply or seek out or be in like my top thrillers of the year, which coincidentally just came out if you're interested to know what my favorite thrillers of the last year was. Okay, so that was a 3.5 stars. And then I finished A Gentleman in Moscow by Immortals, which I gave 5 stars and absolutely, absolutely loved. Halfway through this, I messaged my mom and I was like, you have to read this because it's the kind of book that you will absolutely love. We have very similar reading taste. And she picked it up, was sick off of work, and just binge read the whole thing in one day. And then she's like, have you finished it yet? Have you finished it yet? I was like, no, not yet. But we did have a good chat over it and we both gave it 5 stars. So what I will say about this is some readers I think are going to love it. Some readers are going to find it boring because there isn't that much that happens. But I think for the kind of reader that likes a little bit more of like the slow character type of book, I think you'll really enjoy it. The pacing and the storytelling of this, actually, I was responding to a comment on my last video. I think it was from Shannon. And she was saying that she felt the same way as I did with the book All That We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, in that it was a book that she knew that she was really going to love. And last week I felt that way with this book, in that I didn't want to race through it because I really wanted to savor it. And then I started thinking about those two books, and I feel like the storytelling and the pacing of All the Light We Cannot See reminded me in a lot of ways of A Gentleman in Moscow. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to reread that one because I haven't read it in like 9 years or something ridiculous. But they kind of reminded me of each other. So if you like one, you might like the other. But yeah, this was really stunning. If I'm going to be the most nitpicky person ever, I would say that the ending was a little bit rushed. But at the end of the day, it didn't really impact my feeling. I was still like reading the end of it with my heart in my throat, just like absolutely obsessed with it. So 5 stars. And my first 5-star prediction book was actually a 5-star, which is really lovely. Then I decided to pick up The Five just because I thought this would be good for Halloween, since it's like Jack the Ripper, even though that's kind of not the point of the book. Well, it is, but it's also not. I wanted to read for you what I think is like the thesis statement of this book. And if this sounds interesting to you, definitely pick it up. So it says, "My intention in writing this book is not to hunt and name the killer. I wish instead to retrace the footsteps of 5 women, to consider their experiences within the context of their era, and to follow their paths through both the gloom and the light. They're worth more to us than the empty human shells we have taken them for. They were children who cried for their mothers. They were young women who fell in love. They endured childbirth and the death of parents. They laughed and they celebrated Christmas. They argued with their siblings. They wept. They dreamed. They hurt. They enjoyed small triumphs. The courses their lives took mirrored that of so many other women in the Victorian age, and yet were so singular in the way they ended. It is for them that I write this book. I do so in the hope that we may now hear their stories clearly and give back to them that which was so brutally taken away with their lives, their dignity." And so that really feels, from the part that I've read so far, really feels faithful to what the author is trying to do. She's trying to tell the story of the 5 women that were killed by Jack the Ripper. So I'm reading Polly's story, which is the first one. I'm just on page like 40-ish. And while there is a lot of not characters, there is a lot of info. This is very historically driven, and there are a lot of facts and kind of details in here. I think that it is done in a way that's also very accessible. Like, she truly is telling a story of the women, not just dumping in like as many facts as she could find. And so I'm really enjoying that part of it. It feels a little bit like Erik Larson. Yeah. The author that writes a lot of nonfiction books, I'll pop them up on the screen. His are a little bit more like taking a little bit more liberty, whereas this is more like in the historical facts, but still like telling a story with them, which has been lovely. So I think I'm going to read a good chunk of this on Halloween, which I think will be a very memorable reading experience. And so far, really thoroughly enjoying this. So tomorrow, I have a lot of things to do. I have to pick up my wedding dress, which has now been dry cleaned and preserved. So I'm very excited to get that back in my hands. I need to go pick up my wedding ring, which has been in New Jersey for the past several months as they've been replacing one of the diamonds that fell out. So hopefully I'll get that tomorrow. They actually did it for free, which was really lovely. Thank you, Brilliant Earth. So I'll pick up my ring, and then I'm getting my nails done, a pedicure. Maybe I'll do something fun for Halloween. So it should be another kind of like self-care reading slow day tomorrow. And then, of course, trick-or-treating and a bonfire. What more could I want? So I'm going to head to bed, and I will let you know how I get along with my Halloween read. currently Sunday, and I'm coming in to wrap up the vlog, also give you a little bit of a life update. I have a book package, lots of craziness, so let's just get started. So I'm going to start with this book package. I have no idea who sent this to me, so let's just open it and see what it is. Okay, yeah, I don't actually know who this is from. So hopefully by the time that this is out, I will have figured this out. But it is two lovely books wrapped up, and they look like they're blind date with a book. One says blind date with a romance bookstore owner, love triangle, secret identity. And then the other one says, blind date with a mystery of a family tragedy, quest with terrifying repercussions, shadowy predator. So these both sound lovely. I just don't know who they're from. It could have been my mother, maybe. I will message her. It also could be Mary, because I think Mary was sending me something. Anyways, thank you to whoever sent these to me. I'm debating whether I should open them now. So I think I might save these for a reading vlog down the road and maybe just open them at the beginning of the vlog, and then that is just the theme of the vlog. I just read whatever these are. So yeah, but thank you so much to whoever sent these to me. That was very, very kind. I imagine it was for my birthday. So quick life update. Thanksgiving. Halloween was great. We got lots of trick-or-treaters. I sat out on the porch in my little coat and handed out candy to a lot of very adorable children. Lots of inflatable costumes this year. Lots of inflatables and lots of Encanto costumes seem to be the theme. The kids liked the Reese's, did not like the peanut butter M&Ms. I was very peanut heavy, which I'm realizing now is probably a bad idea. But everything was wrapped, so hopefully it wouldn't have been an issue. But yeah, we got through most of the candy. I just have a little bit left in my trick-or-treat bowl, and then we got rid of all of the extra candy, which is great. At the bonfire that my friend Charlotte had, we watched Halloween and then half of Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we all got very tired and cold, so we didn't finish it. But it was really fun. She had pizza. She always gets pizza in for those cozy little nights, and we had a lot of fun all just hanging out. And then today, Tyler and I have had get our life together type of days. We went to the grocery store and just got some stuff for the week, and it's been kind of a chill day. So I did want to wrap up what I read this week, but I did want to do trial a new segment in this vlog, which I'm planning to only do in the last episode or last vlog of the month. So usually there's 4 vlogs per month for the 4 weeks. And I thought it would be fun at the end to do a little favorite segment of just some non-bookish things that I've been enjoying that month. Let me know if you're interested in this. I love these when people do this in their videos because I'm nosy and I like to know what everybody is up to. But I do understand that some people are just in it for the books. So let me know what you think. But I have 4 things I'm going to talk about. 2 of them are music, and then 2 of them are just items. So let me start with the music. First of all, are 2 albums that I've just been listening to nonstop. The first is Life of a Showgirl, of course. The first time I listened to it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but then I just became fully obsessed. And one of my coworkers, Ross, absolutely loves it too. So when we're at work and we're working on all our documentation and notes, we just play Life of a Showgirl and bop, which is wonderful. My favorite song on the album is Elizabeth Taylor. I also love Eldest Daughter. I love Wish List. I love Father Fit. I love them all. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of her best recent albums, in my opinion, but definitely is back to her more upbeat pop stuff. That's, of course, Taylor Swift. The other album I have been just listening to on repeat is the Phoebe Bridgers album called Stranger in the Alps. And it is just cozy, not cozy necessarily, but quiet fall acoustic guitar vibes. And it is just always on in the background. If I'm cooking something, it's on. If I'm going for a walk or in the car, it's on. And I've just loved it so much because it just feels like a fall album. She has a more recent album, but I like just got into her stuff, so I kind of started with one of her earlier things, but absolutely love that album. And then my two other random favorites are this coffee pod. So I have a lot of different coffee paraphernalia. But one of the things I have is an Espresso Virtuo, which is a just a one serving pod system. They are recyclable, which is really great. And I have been trying to get better about doing that, but I tend to recycle these, wash them out, and put them in the recycling. And they just came out with their festive collection for like the winter, November and December winter holidays. And I got this one. It is called Cinnamon and Candied Tamarind. And it is so divine. This is just like a regular coffee, so not an espresso or anything, even though it's made in a Nespresso machine. But I've just absolutely loved this. I just pop it in the machine, especially on my work days, and bring it to work with me. So highly recommend that. And then my last thing is a beauty product. I am not any kind of beauty vlogger or connoisseur or anything, but occasionally I'll pick up a new product at Sephora and just like see what the hype is about. And I, at this time of the year and in the winter months, I get very, very, very dry skin. And so I've been always looking for something that like moisturizes me. And I picked up this from Fenty Beauty. It is called, I don't know if it's focusing, but it is called Fat Water, and it is toner. So I just pop it on like before my moisturizer, just pat it into my skin, and it feels so luxurious. It is pretty scented, and it smells like tea in my opinion, so just keep that in mind. But I do have pretty sensitive skin, and I don't have any issues with it, and I actually really enjoy the scent. But it is just the most moisturizing, lovely feeling ever. So yeah, have thoroughly been enjoying that. So anyways, those are my little monthly favorites. Maybe I should have done that segment after wrapping up this vlog. I don't know. Let me know if you have opinions. But let me actually get into the books that I finished. So this week I read 925 pages, which is 154 pages a day, which is wonderful. I am soaring. That is great for me, as opposed to my 60-something pages a day last week, which just was an indicator of me being busy and stressed out. So really happy with that. In terms of the books that I finished, I gave A Gentleman in Moscow 5 stars and absolutely loved it, and have since ordered all of Immortal's books, which are hopefully on their way to me, and I will be picking them up very soon. I gave the 4.5 stars. I really loved this. Did I have a deeply emotional response? Did it feel like a 5-star read? Not quite. That's why I didn't quite get to 5 stars, but I thought it was so interesting. It was so well researched. It was so engaging, so well written. And I would recommend this for anybody who is into history, particularly the Victorian period, anybody who's into kind of like true crime, but particularly celebrating like the victims and more that kind of angle of true crime. This would be great. And yeah, this was fantastic. 4.5 stars for that one. I can't remember if I've told you about this, but The Holdout, the audiobook I was listening to, I ended up giving a 3.5 stars and did enjoy, but I don't think it's going to be a new favorite. And finally, I have started The Book of Guilt, which is going to be a holdover book into next week by Katherine Chidgey. Interestingly enough, I was looking on Goodreads and I realized that I have read a book by this author before called Remote Sympathy, which I really, really enjoyed. And I like the cover design and the selling of that book is so different than this one that I didn't even realize it was the same author. But I'm about like 100 pages into this one, and the beginning was a little bit rocky because I truly had no idea what was going on for a lot of it. It's one of those stories where you're just kind of plopped into a dystopian and alternate world and left to kind of pick up the pieces of what's going on. But as we're getting to the hook of the story a little bit more, I'm starting to enjoy it. But yeah, the beginning was a little rough. So we'll see how the rest of this goes. But yeah, writing is excellent still, and I'm excited to finish this up in next week's vlog. The quote of the week actually is a page of a book, not quite a quote. And I just thought this was so interesting. So at the very end of The Five by Hallie Rubenhold, there's this page. And it just says life and objects. And it has what each of the victims of Jack the Ripper last had on them when they were murdered. And I was just like, that's such an interesting way to end the book. So you can kind of like see what was important to them and what they needed to survive, because many of them were in really, really tough places at the end. So for example, Annie, who was one of the victims, it says a long black figured coat that came down to her knees, black skirt, brown bodice, another bodice, 2 petticoats, a large pocket worn under the skirt and tied around the waist with strings, lace-up boots, red and white striped woolen stockings, neckerchief white with red border, scrap of muslin, 1 small tooth comb, 1 comb in a paper case, scrap of envelope containing 2 pills bearing the seal of the Sussex Regiment, and post stamp London, 28 August, 1888. Like, I thought the research that went into that and the attention to detail to put that in the book was just so fascinating. So that is the quote for the week. If you made it to the end of this video, just leave me the number 5 in your comment, like at the end of your comment, for this book that I really, really enjoyed this week. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.